they keep talking about the Battle of LA. Yeah, Rams won a Super Bowl. Okay, cool. Look at what the parade looked like. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Did they really win LA? I don't really think they did. The brand of the Chargers football team and the environment that they've created is exciting, fun, heart attack based, games, and they're just super fun to watch. So you got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Now you could potentially have one of the best defenses in the league. I'm not saying we're going to be a top 5 defense, but we do have the elements that could become a top 5 defense.
Yeah.
If we have a number 4 offense from last year with, say, a top 5, I'm not going to say we're going to be top 5, but let's go top 10. Let's just say we get to that point. This team has the ability to go far and to be extremely fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, they were already fun last year, but this could be just dominating type of Chargers football. Let's talk about the AFC Best and specifically the best team in the division, the Chargers, baby.
The Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers. Yeah, let's talk about them and all what they've done for the free agency up to this point. So, obviously, the first wave is done. So, let's get into it. Bolt Bros, let's go.
Bolt Bros, let's go.
Oh, man. I feel like Andy was a little less enthusiastic about that. He was just like, Bolt Bros.
Bolt Bros.
Yeah, Bolt Bros.
Yeah.
What are you wake up there, dude? What's going on, man?
I'm kind of tired. You
Get some
tired of
caffeine
this?
in you, dude.
Come on
What's
now.
going on,
It's late. It's late at night. Hey, man, I'm an old man. I got to sleep.
Jeez, man.
That's right.
Man. All right. Well, we've had another video that we've chatted about a lot of these moves and the first wave of moves, and it's been awesome to see. I mean, this is an off season for the ages for the Chargers. I mean, I have not seen this ever in the decades of being a Chargers fan, and I mean, the Spanos are really opening up the checkbook, and Tom Telesco. I don't know if it's once again Brandon Staley's just saying, hey man, you better make these type of moves, and you got to make it happen. Obviously we got J.C. Jackson. We got
Huge.
Massive. And we got defensive back 1 now. We got Khalil Mack, continuity of Brandon Staley. Cool thing, and I know I sent that video over to you a little bit where they kind of gave a preview for the All-In series that's going to be coming up, free agency.
So sick, by the way.
I love that series.
I watch those constantly over and over again. It's bad. It is bad.
They're the best. Bad isn't good.
Yeah. Bad isn't awesome.
But the coolest thing that it was is when Brandon Staley met J.C. Jackson, and he, obviously, what's up, man? Good to have you here. Hey, there's a lot of notes that we had. And he just had his whole notebook, and he's like, this is what you do good. This is what you do good. This is what you do good. And he was just going down all this list of everything, and he's like, bottom line, you're a championship player.
Yeah.
And J.C. Jackson was looking around like, man, this guy really knows me as a player.
Yeah, right?
That's awesome to see.
Yeah, he was kind of he seemed a little like, oh, what?
Wow.
It's like, wait, what? He's like, this guy knows me. He sees me,
Yeah. I mean, isn't that great for a first impression?
Date? First date?
That's right.
Oh, this is going great. All right, we're going out again.
Yeah, it's like,
this guy understands me.
Yeah, right?
Oh, he listens to me.
Yeah.
He understands me as a human being. I'm amazing.
Yeah. I'm in love. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what it seemed like. I mean, it was a little bit of a stalkerish. Brandon Stalker's Staley, it was crazy to see, but dude, isn't that a great impression to be able to come into a whole new organization and being like, this coach knows who I am and where my strengths are and everything. So
Absolutely.
That's awesome to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and again, I remember Sebastian Joseph Day talking about that when he first met Brandon Staley as well. He said the same thing. But essentially, he's like, "Hey, I know who you are." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you're an amazing player. You're gonna have a great career in the league." And the thing about Brandon Staley specifically that I've been extremely impressed with him, he understands players, right?
Yeah.
Guys, make no mistake about it. I promise you, he gave a wish list to Tom Telesco and said,
100%.
"Yo, get me these players, and we're gonna kick some ass, right?" And that's the reality, right? And he had it figured out. I mean, Austin Johnson's an interesting one. Like, I kept thinking, I was like, man, I wouldn't have thought that guy would be that great. He's kind of like the unsung free agent that we have that's like, okay, well, whatever, cool. But he did well. Like, he's a pretty good player. He's a run stuffer. and they got him pretty cheap. And so I think a big part of that is, hey, look, he's better. He's an upgrade from what we had last year. So, and that's just the fact that Brandon Staley does his homework. He understands opponents. He understands pros and cons of every player. And he knows what fits in his system.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's probably why they let go of Justin Jones too.
Yeah, for sure.
He knew, hey, this guy would fit better in my scheme.
Yep.
And let's move on.
Well,
and that breaks my heart because I really like Justin Jones. I thought, he gave it all.
I like Justin Jones as well. I think he's a solid player, and like, he's going to do well. Like in the other team. But I was going to say, like, I mean, just like we talked about with the Broncos, how they got the offensive coordinator from the Green Bay Packers to show over there. With Brandon Staley being there, like he had a great connection with Khalil Mack. And that was one of Khalil Mack's one of his all-pro years.
Best years.
One of his best years. And then obviously the relationship he had with Sebastian Joseph Day allowed him to bring him over there too. So and that relationship with coaches makes a huge difference to be able to get these players over to want to play with him. Like we talk about that all the time. Players want to play for Staley because his mindset and and he's a player's coach. He was a player himself, and he's also just awesome. Yep.
Yeah.
He's a good leader. Yep. And he made great impressions on all those players. Yep. I mean, I think they broke down and they talked about Khalil Mack and how many times that Brandon Staley says Khalil Mack when he initially got into the job with the Chargers.
Yeah.
And it was like tons of times that he talked about Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
And he wanted his guy here. Yeah. And hey, basically, I think he even told Telesco, just make it happen, find some way to make it happen. And they got it happen. They made it happen, and Telesco got it to work. And to be honest, man, it could pay off dividends for us.
Yes.
I mean, we gave up a little bit, but the Bears gave up a lot to be able to get him.
They gave up a lot.
Yeah.
So and they needed to free up space, but they lost a bit. I mean, Bears going to be horrible next year. I don't see them doing anything, right? And
I don't think so.
I think about this too a lot. I guarantee Khalil Mack's excited. Hey man, I got a gunslinger for a quarterback.
Yeah.
I got a defensive guy that gets me. Had my best year ever.
Yeah.
He's 31 years old. I promise you that guy is going to play with a chip on his shoulder. He's going to wreck some fools.
Heck yeah.
So we should probably do? We should probably talk about the offensive line before we go into some of these other things as well too, because I want to see. Again, we all know the right side needs work, right? Again, we talked about this in different. This is kind of the recap. This is the recap, but there's some rumors floating around where maybe Filer moves over to the right side. Hymas comes in. I mean, Trey Pipkins did pretty well last year too. Sure. Yeah. Maybe they move Storm Norton on the left side. I mean, look, we had the 10th offensive line. If we just shuffle those pieces around, I think we could do fairly well.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on sort of moving those folks up? Because we haven't made any splashes on the line in free agency at all. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there might be one or two that we might be able to go after a little later, but we haven't seen anything so far.
Yeah, and I mean, when you kind of have the 10th best O-line in the league with basically the center to left side basically being Pro Bowl-based players. I mean, you kind of don't really talk too much about it and think too much about it. And but at the same side, what if we could get it down to the 5th best offensive line and just make some shifts around here?
Yeah,
amazing.
And I think, to be honest, and once again, we have plenty of draft picks, 10 picks. And
we have 10 picks.
I have a feeling we're going to find a way that we're going to trade back in the first round to get a second-round pick back. I have just some feeling that's going to happen.
Yeah,
I think so.
So I think they keep like a lot of mock drafts say the Steelers are going to trade down to be able to go after a quarterback and like all these different things. So we'll see what happens, but
it's going to be interesting.
There's going to be a lot of shifting. I think at this moment there could be a lot of shifting on the certain players. And once again, Brandon Hymas was a guy that they drafted last year. Didn't really have any field time, but he's one of those guys that for some reason they drafted him and they're going to use him. And maybe they just wanted to give him 1 year, just to understand the system. And who knows? Maybe he'll be the right guard, left guard. I don't know.
Yep, I think so. Yeah, what do you think there, Kyle?
I don't think it would be a bad idea to actually maybe, trade our first-round pick for 2 second-round picks or something like that, So that way we can have two there. Because second-round players are still, pretty dang good usually, too. But
And there's a lot of defensive linemen in the draft this draft as well too.
It's very defensive heavy.
And line players.
And,
you could probably trade that one down and get two pretty good linemen and a defensive lineman.
Right. But then truth is though too is like, I mean, them not making any moves on the offensive line does make me feel like that they're actually going to go offensive line for the draft. Hey, it worked out. It worked out well last year with Slater.
That blew me away.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were going to get him. We got lucky on that one for sure.
Pretty good.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and I so an interesting statistic on the line too. By the way, I don't remember where I saw this one, but you know, we actually ran 6. If we would ran the ball to the left side, we averaged 6 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Right side, 3 yards a carry.
Yeah.
See, and the thing is, in the NFL, right, at that point, when they know, hey, look,
it's a run.
They're going to run the ball.
It's going left. Yeah.
It's going to the left every time. They're not going to run it to the right, and so they just bunch up that side, right? I mean, those are the little things that make a team, very one side or one dimensional. So, you got to balance it out. I think they're gonna have one more year on that line to figure out what they're gonna do. But again, I always think about the draft too, right? You think about it. Telesco finds value in the draft up and down the board all the time.
Yeah.
So if the thought is maybe trading down and maybe getting 2 picks in the second round, or maybe stacking second and third round, we could do fine. Especially if it's just draft. And again, we don't have to pay a first round pick either as much money.
True.
You can be paying somebody a lot less money down the second and third round picks as well too. So that frees up cap space and gives you more options moving forward.
True.
Yep, and that's totally the truth. I mean, that's a good strategy in my opinion. But we'll see what happens there. I mean, the thing about it is like even adding like Gerald Everett too as a tight end. He actually has some pretty good like catches as when he was at Seattle, and I thought he was pretty good at the Rams. But I heard he's a bunch of all-around better tight end, blocking and catching percentage higher than Jared Cook too. So
cool.
He's pretty good pickup. Now, once again, could he be one of those guys that's a good blocker on the edge? I mean, McKitty was kind of that guy where they were talking a lot about with him and his blocking skills that he was actually doing pretty well on that too. So, I mean, hopefully that'll help out with the line a little bit, but. Adding another weapon like that for Herbert, I mean, even we're the number 4 offense already in the league from last year.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, just adding another catch guy. I mean, Gerald Everett was having some yards after catches that were pretty phenomenal, and he's seemed very gritty after the catch too. So he was trying to get more yards after the catch too.
And he's a better blocker, right? I mean, Parham wasn't really a great blocker. He was okay. He was more of a wide receiver. The one thing I will say too, though, is a running back too would be great. Eckler's excellent, but again, we did not get a lot of production out of our running back too.
Yeah.
And that
not at all.
That's tough, right? So
that's
not seeing a lot of people talk about. It is right, and it would be nice to have somebody that you can, rely on, rather than just Eckler the entire time, right? So I think that would be a nice addition. But other than that, I think the offense is pretty stout. They'll tweak the line a little bit, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, I mean, heck, if they get Trevor Penning on a right tackle, I mean, that would be phenomenal to have him. But there's a lot of good right tackles and guys that we could plug in there from the draft, and I do think there's a lot of options out there for us. So I'm looking forward to the draft for sure. It's going to be fun for us.
Mm-hmm. So I think one of the things, I think we know what we're going to do offensively, but I keep thinking about what we're going to do to the AFC West defensively. This is what's so exciting to me. Because look, at the end of the day, look, we already have a J.C. Jackson, cornerback 1. He's going to automatically do man coverage against your number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably have Asante Samuel in the slot. Probably take away your number 2 wide receiver.
Yeah.
And then you got Michael Davis as your third. And the reality is you're not going to have a lot of time to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Because you got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa trying to rip your head off.
Yep.
It's going to be crazy. I mean, I don't know.
It's going to be an exciting defense. I mean, it kind of gives me these weird like vibes of what the mid-2000 defense was. It was just suffocating and just getting a lot of sacks, just making a lot of pressure happen, getting interceptions. I mean, Derwin James floating around there too, which I think he's going to play a lot more of a hybrid position this year.
Yeah, for sure.
For 2022. So, I mean, he could be a little bit more at the blitz and inside the box, kind of be maybe even play just a little bit of a linebacker position, because I mean, we haven't even looked at anything in linebacker at all. So it's going to be just a crazy defense, and this is going to really truly unlock the Brandon Staley defense, in my opinion.
It will, 100%.
And
it was clear that we couldn't execute that last year, for sure.
Yep.
Yep. Kyle, what are your thoughts there?
Well, I mean, the truth is, like, I think we need to keep Kaiser White. He really showed up last year, and like I don't feel like he's replaceable. Like I really want to keep him, and I hope they make a move to try to keep him in some way.
Yeah.
And the thing about Kaiser, though, too, every day that goes by, that's less money for him. So there is kind of that level of like, I would love to have him back. He was great for like tackles. He did a pretty good job for like forcing fumbles, picks, that kind of stuff. I think he did good, but at the same side, like his contract's starting to get tinier and tinier and tinier and tinier because the money is being spent out throughout the league. So, and it sucks to think that for him that he might only get like, I don't know, a couple mil a year or whatnot. Let's just say it's $3-4 million a year, $10 to $12 million total contract. That's a pay raise in his book if he gets a 2-year contract like that. And I don't think that's that bad of a money contract for a guy like that to bring him back. But once again, last year was offense for a focus on free agency. This year is a focus on defense. And this is really about what Brandon Staley wants in his defense. Maybe he sees something that he didn't like in Kaiser White that didn't fit well, and he's just going to have to move on. And I do think there's a lot of really good linebackers in this draft that's coming up. So
and I think also our run stopping was so poor that Kaiser White was pretty much the guy that had to make the play.
Yes.
So he was pretty much the guy that had to make the play. Now you could argue, well, he made the play.
Yeah.
So you need to get him. Okay, sure. But he probably wants like ridiculous amount of money too.
Yeah.
So it's very possible. Yeah.
Yeah, and if we could even get Kenneth Murray back to where he was when the first year, I think with, he was over 100-something tackles. Yeah. I mean, he was very active on the field, and I think he had a little bit of injury issues this year. Yeah. So I don't know, and obviously, ankle injuries. So it's just one of those things that I think that if you could just get him back to where he needs to be, and I think this defense is really going to be able to potentially unlock him a little bit more. Right. And allow him to be who he is. And once again, I do think he's a guy that should be attacking the line more than coverage based.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think we have the cornerbacks to be able to kind of be that coverage guys. Push back Derwin James in a cover situation, Michael Davis, J.C. Jackson, Nazir Adderley. You could push in Kenneth Murray to be able to just be a run stuffer or basically go after the quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that I think the defense could kind of shift around with him to be able to really put him out on the field that he's going to do a great job. So,
yeah, but and that's the thing too is like I mean maybe he just had a second-year slump, like we always talk about that a lot too that happens with a lot of second-year players. So hopefully we don't see that with Asante Samuel this year because we need him out there, So
yeah, we do.
Yeah,
and it really will be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I think now we finally have all the tools that we need to have an amazing defense, and it will be amazing to see because we're going to score points. We know that. We got Justin Herbert; he's going to score points.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. Whether he takes, puts the team on his back and runs it down the field, he's going to do it. And but that's what he does. Again, we just needed to stop the other team. We just didn't do that last year. So, no, I think it'd be great to see again when we think about the other teams. You got new coaching staffs, Raiders and Broncos, first year. I think there's going to be some cobwebs they've got to figure out. We're on our second year. I promise you Brandon Staley's going to think differently about going forward on fourth down as aggressive as he was last time. Probably won't be as aggressive this next year, at least is my prediction. I mean, who knows? But at the end of the day, man, they play an exciting brand of football, man. I tell you, the Chargers are absolutely incredible to watch. And it's interesting how many people I've been watching all these random YouTubers talk about the Chargers, and they're like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Absolutely the funnest team to watch play football, period. And it's amazing. I mean, a heart attack every year, every game, and it's just, but it's who cares? I love it. It's the best thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah.
Dude, they're enjoyable to watch, and that's the thing about, they keep talking about the Battle of LA. Yeah, Rams won a Super Bowl. Okay, cool. Look at what the parade looked like. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Did they really win LA? I don't really think they did. The brand of the Chargers football team and the environment that they've created is exciting, fun, heart attack based, games, and they're just super fun to watch. So you got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Now you could potentially have one of the best, defenses in the league. I'm not saying we're going to be a top 5 defense, but we do have the elements that could become a top 5 defense.
Yeah.
If we have a number 4 offense from last year with, say, a top 5, I'm not going to say we're going to be top 5, but let's go top 10. Let's just say we get to that point. This team has the ability to go far and to be extremely fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, they were already fun last year, but this could be just dominating type of Chargers football.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, I would love to be able to see a lot more blowout-based games where you're already middle of the third quarter and we're up 28. And that would be awesome to see.
That'd be great.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go to the car.
That's right.
Let's go to the car, guys. We're good to go.
See you later.
Tell everybody to get out of here. See ya,
right.
dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go outside and get myself one of them street dogs.
Hot dog.
Yeah.
But it's exciting to see, right? And I think bottom line, the draft is going to be great because really, I mean, in a different way, I almost feel like the Chargers are in kind of a similar situation as the Chiefs. They've kind of built their team now, and now they're just going for depth, right?
Sure.
They already got most of their positions figured out. They're just going for depth in the draft, and that's a good position to be in because at that situation, you don't have to focus on, oh man, what are we gonna do with this hole here? How are we gonna protect this side? And there's not a lot of glaring holes or real needs that the Chargers have. I mean, not a lot. I mean, it's we're pretty stacked across the board. And I was just chatting with a kid I just met a couple days ago, and he was talking about how he used to be a Charger fan. He's a big LT fan, and he's like, oh, I like the Jets now. And I'm like, man. Wow. It's a great time to be a Charger fan. I don't know, way better time to be a Charger fan than a Jets fan. That's for damn sure. Right?
I mean,
Jets
I would have been like, yo, man, that's a hard transition, dude.
Yeah,
what have the Jets done?
That's a
Coast,
hard
East
left.
Coast.
Yeah.
Tight.
Yeah. But again, right, man, what we are playing, the way we play is just heart-pounding. It's exciting. So, I mean, sky's the limit, guys. And, I mean, okay, so we got to give it a grade, right? We got to give it a grade.
Yeah.
And okay, here's the thing, guys. We all know we're going to give them higher grades than we gave the rest. We already know that, guys.
We know where we're going.
Okay, so let's not be ultra biased on the grade we're about to give the Chargers, okay, guys? All right, so I'm going to say this.
I'll maybe promise that. Yeah.
I'm going to say an A- because they didn't take care of the right side of the offensive line. It may be a running back too yet, right? So I'm going to say an A- is what I'm going
to say. Yeah, and to be honest, I'd probably say the same thing too. And just because the right tackle needs to be situated, I was really hoping that they were going to go after Cordero Patterson.
Yeah,
and he ended up re-signing with Atlanta. I kind of had a little bit of a beef with this guy on Facebook talking about, hey, you guys are stupid. You guys, that's why you guys aren't GMs. I was like, dude, check his highlights. Realize what he does as a player and how much he could really elevate this team and have that complete X factor at running back, wide receiver. I mean, it would have been a phenomenal signing, but he decided to stay with Atlanta, which is kind of an interesting move for them. But A- for sure, and I think that's a pretty fair, non-biased.
Non-biased. All right, Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm also looking at other stuff too, and everything online is saying that the Chargers are one of the most improved teams out in the NFL, and without even being biased, I would say solid A then. I guess, but maybe I am just biased on it. But I'm looking at everything online. Everything's saying is that the Chargers are one of the most improved teams in the entire NFL right now, next to the Broncos, actually. So the Broncos are like the most improved because of the quarterback, like how much a quarterback can impact a team. We already got a star-studded quarterback. He's going to be amazing. He's 2 games shy of getting 10,000 yards.
It's crazy.
It's insane. And he's probably, by the end of the season, maybe he'll be able to get to 100 touchdowns.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. I think he'll do that. I think he could get up to that point.
I think he
can with all the weapons we got. Yeah. As long as they stay healthy.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
So we're gonna be good, and it's gonna be amazing to watch every game in the AFC West, primetime, baby. AFC primetime. Yeah.
Oh man, right. It's gonna be exciting, guys. I mean, I guess just to wrap up, I would say this. Look, we all know what the Chargers did. If you're a Charger fan, if you ever were a Charger fan, it's time to be a Charger fan now, for sure.
Yeah.
And look, we talk about Battle for LA all the time. Look, at the end of the day, people want to cheer for teams that are winning, right?
Yep.
True.
Everyone does it.
Yep.
Okay. And you can sit back all day. Oh, I'm a Tom Brady fan. I'm a whatever fan. Okay, fine. But at the end of the day, you want to cheer for a team that's exciting, fun to watch, and they win. And man, the Chargers should do it. On paper, they should dominate next year. Now, having said that, right, they still got to go execute. They still got to make it. Still got to stay healthy. Yeah. Some good choices, but I mean, how stacked is the AFC West? It's just it's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
It's a playoff game every game.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's unbelievable. And I mean, the thing about it is like we don't win Super Bowls in March. I mean, you could create a championship looking squad and great on paper, and I've heard that many times with the Chargers that we're great on paper and then we don't execute when we get to the season.
Exactly correct.
That's true.
Yep.
And the one thing
even
too,
last year we were 4-1 for a while, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We look like we're gonna take the whole division.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. And I mean, technically, we could have been 5-0 if that Dallas game didn't, kind of go sideways.
That pisses me off. Let's not talk about that game. Let's not talk about that game.
No, man. Yeah, no.
I'm still angry.
Nope.
I mean,
that
the
was
thing that's
ball.
interesting. Yeah.
Stupid refs.
The one thing that makes me go into the season. Let's say we have a top 5 defense. Last year we definitely didn't have a top 5 defense. Nope. I mean, we had latter half of the defensive category defense. I mean, it's just an absolute mess, and especially against the run. I mean, the reason why we went on those 4th downs is because we know our offense was our strength.
Yeah.
Are we still going to do that if we had a top 5 defense? I mean, that's something to think about too. I mean, this team might be a little different, but at the same side, if that's a killer instinct mentality that Brandon Staley wanted to put in there, I mean, this could be just no mercy as a team.
True.
I don't care. We're just going to keep trying to put points on the board and just let it go. Like, if we could go for it on 4th and the stats line up for it, let's go. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
And who knows?
I hear what you're saying. I know Telesco made a comment. I think it was the combine. Maybe it was the Pat McAfee show. I'm not quite sure. But he started talking about how, hey, when you kick a field goal, you only get 3 points and you leave 4 points on the board, or you don't put 4 points on the board. And it's like, okay, I understand that, but yeah, you got 3 points, right? You walk away with something rather than nothing. And I understand that, right? And you say, well, okay, that's 4 points that you're losing over 3 points. And when you trust in your offense, it's an easier decision, right? Especially when it's an analytical based decision, right? So you're not really you're keeping emotions out of it completely, right?
Yeah.
And so I would say my prediction next year on that, I think Brandon Staley would just go for it more on 50-yard lines rather than closer to our end zone to try and spark the offense like we did in the Raiders game a few times.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably be a little more conservative where we're on the field, but that's about it. I still think he's going to play an aggressive brand of football and sling it. Let Herbert do it.
Yeah.
Keep the ball in Herbert's hands.
That's right.
Like, I'm so down for that. And, going back when his first year with Anthony Lynn, I kept saying, man, why are they trying field goals on these things? Like, and once again, that was his first year as Justin Herbert, and you could see how good he was. Keep the ball in the dude's hands.
Yeah.
Like, just keep going. Just whatever. Just keep going. These field goals aren't hitting for us. Just keep it in his hands. Like, just throw the dang ball or whatever you need to do. And I don't know. I think we're a little bit off topic on this, but like at the same side, like I think it's going to be an interesting year of where he's going to go strategy-wise. And I do think he still has that killer instinct, Brandon Staley mentality. Heck, why not? I mean, I remember the Patriots years ago. I think it was when Tom Brady threw like 50-something touchdowns or whatever it was. I mean, I think they played pretty aggressive regardless of what that score was. So I'm hoping that there's going to be some 45-13 wins by the Chargers or something crazy like that, because we're just going to keep playing, keep your foot on the gas and keep going, just keep pushing. Who cares? That's where I said prediction wise in one of our past videos, Justin Herbert's going to still throw over 5,000 yards and he's going to have well over 40 passing touchdowns this year and will be considered as an MVP candidate throughout the year.
There it is. I believe it.
Yep. He's going to do it.
And I would say this, our offense is going to be just like this. Is all gas, no brakes, just like my dating life.
Whoa.
Just like my dating life.
But bottom line, I think it's going to be very, very fun to watch the Chargers. I mean, we have tons of talent, and if we have all 10 of our draft picks, I mean, just adding 10 more players to our team in those gap filling areas. I mean, this is a stacked team. And I mean, you guys have said before, players want to play for this guy, and they love what Brandon Staley's doing. They love that he's taking risks, and that's kind of been his whole mantra. And I think players are going to just flourish in this team. So offensively, defensively, we're going to be just fun to watch. Oh, we should even talk about special teams. How we just got in some other guys too, J.K. Scott too. Yeah. We got him back in
punter,
new punter. So. He's not that bad as a punter. He's got a little bit of experience. Obviously, we got Dustin Hopkins back and everything too, and Josh Harris for long snapping. So the thing that I kind of like about those moves, they're guys that have been in the league. Mm-hmm. We've always gotten shot in the foot by trying to put in some rookie in there. I mean, I would love to get Matt Ariza, but once again, it's a rookie coming into the league. What's not to say that he ends up just shanking punts left and right, and he's not hitting his 80-yard signature punts, So I just think putting in veteran guys in positions of need is probably the best way to stabilize those positions. So
and again, I think again, he's fixing all three phases of the game.
Yep.
He's solidifying it completely, right? I liked Long, but Long, he couldn't kick the ball long, right? He just couldn't do it. He did all right, He seemed like he took forever to kick that ball off as well too. So
took a long time to punt it,
Yeah, it was really weird. I was like, man, dude, this guy's taking forever back there trying to kick that ball. So, it'll be really interesting to see what happens. Guys, I couldn't be more excited. The Chargers just have, everything going for it. We just got to go execute.
Yeah, exactly.
Made some championship moves, man. I've been saying for the longest, Justin Herbert's at a championship level. The team just needs to catch up, and I think we're at that point. So it's going to be really, really fun to see. It's going to be a real potential run to go for a Super Bowl, and I'm glad and I'm hoping we could see that in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're gonna see it next year.
Absolutely.
Super Bowl's in Arizona. Let's go.
We're
rolling.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Bolt Bros. Make it happen.
Bros. Let's go.
Oop, there it is.
Put the glasses on too.
I thought you were gonna put shades on. I was like, man, he about to be all shaded up, dude.
Yeah, what's up, Put some shades on.
That's great.